Okay, boom, boom, and we are back here on PTZOptics Live. I'm going to talk about the future with Jim for a second. We know there's latency on YouTube, so everyone's about 30, maybe 45 seconds behind, so we'll give them some time to start asking questions. Jim, what is the biggest trend you're seeing in the live streaming market right now?
We already talked about NewTek NDI. NDI is definitely the biggest trend. We're seeing more and more products support and adapt and really make the most out of that technology. We're also seeing a lot of additional options and questions and concerns for setting up a studio, whether it's a studio, actual fit studio in-house, or a mobile production with videographers asking questions about lighting, camera rigs, gimbals, anything that can help them achieve a better production.
Yeah, no, exactly. And ask a quick question. And again, anyone who wants to can just call into that number and ask a few questions. We're going to hang out for 5 or 10 minutes and just answer any questions that are in the chat. One of the things that I find really interesting is, has anyone, here's a question from Kevin. Kevin Schumel is saying, has anyone tested performance with NDI on a TriCaster compared to vMix NDI or similar NDI integrations? One of the things I can say that has been tested by Jim Davis. Jim Davis is from DVI Direct, and I had him on the show. I didn't have him on the show, but DVS Direct, you're right. I didn't have him on the show, but he submitted some footage of some NDI testing, and he literally used a flashlight to turn the flashlight on in the dark and literally scrub frame by frame to see the latency because it was so minimal. So with that being said, I mean, some tests have been done. I don't know. I don't think everyone's tested everything, but Jim is your guy. I mean, Jim, I'm going to ask. He actually has some new videos he wanted me to look at here. Kevin saying, seen on Streaming Idiots stream the other day with vMix, we needed a beast of a PC with NDI sources. Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of different NDI integrations today. Finally, a lot of them are coming to fruition. I think that, you know, I was always aiming for the end of the year for our NDI camera. I think it's been pushed back a little bit. But I will say that when Andrew Cross comes on our show in 2 weeks, we have a very exciting announcement to make. Okay? We all talked about the NDI Connect Pro app. What that does is it's a Windows PC app that allows you to stream directly from a PTZOptics camera and turn that into a NewTek NDI source. Now there's something even better coming. I can't say what. I don't want to steal Andrew's thunder. I can't even believe I'm having Andrew on our show. So I'm really excited to have a few interesting things to talk about in about 2 weeks. You listeners asking, how much bandwidth does NDI take? I know it uses the local area network to talk to each other. Just curious if it can affect live streaming. From what I understand, it is extremely bandwidth intensive. I want to ask, I feel it's like Andrew Cross is going to be on our show in 2 weeks. So I almost wish if we could just have him on the show. I don't want to say something that's wrong, but I have a feeling that it could be up to 100 megabits.
I can tell you when we hooked up the talk show to our TriCaster using NDI, we had to shut down the system and upgrade our bandwidth with Verizon before we can go back and even attempt to do it. Yeah, so definitely bandwidth is an issue, without a doubt.
Yeah, it's and although, you know, on one hand, depends on how you're using it. You know, it is within your local area network, so you're just taking up the available, you know, speed on your switch. So whether you have a 10100, it's definitely not going to cut it. You definitely 100% need a gigabit switch. Now, it's not built for a 10 gigabit switch, which, stop me if I'm getting too technical here, but some of the other IP protocols like Aspen and a few of the others require 10 gigabit. And one of the nice things about the NDI is that Andrew Cross built-in backwards support for a lot of the other standard IP protocols as well. Again, we're going to go to town with Andrew Cross in 2 weeks, and we are going to get every answer about the NewTek NDI that we possibly can. And guys, any question, no question is off limits, okay? I don't care what you want to ask Andrew. We're going to ask him in this chat room, and we're going to get all the answers. And hopefully he'll come back on the show afterwards. Won't beat him up too much. But yeah, we're gonna do a lightning round with him. We're gonna get to know him, and we're gonna learn from the best. That's what you got to do. So doesn't look like there's too many more questions. There's a link below for that PowerPoint. I think it could be a valuable asset for a lot of people who are building systems and want to just do a quick wiring diagram. And I guess that's it, really. I was hoping we could get some call-ins, but hey. You know, we got a lively chat room. It's been a great show. I really appreciate everyone who's showed up. This show is for you guys. You guys are here. You're watching the show. Yes.
Excuse me. I actually just called in. I had a question.
Oh, hey. Sorry, I didn't hear you there. How you doing?
Hey, it's Matt. I'm doing well. I just had a quick question. We heard from Jim with his favorite CDN. I just wanted to figure out what your favorite CDN is and why you like it so much.
So I am on board with YouTube Live. For a couple reasons. One is because YouTube Live has the best bang for your buck when it comes to search engine optimization and getting your content out to the world. I don't see why people use other things like the cast unless they want to charge, okay? So if you are what I consider a premium content creator, a local school, a college-level sports team, somebody out there who can actually charge for their content, you don't want to go to YouTube because that's free. You actually do want to go to some place like Wowza, like Jim, you mentioned Wowza, Tiki Live. These places allow you to do a paywall, insert advertising, and really the sky's the limit. I mean, you can make a lot of money with your monetizing your content. Thank you for the question, Matt.
Yeah, thank you very much. Love the show. I just subscribed.
Sounds good. Take care. Have a good weekend. Happy Friday. Last question, or at least one of the last questions here. Kevin Schmoll is asking, on the subject of bandwidth, does the PTZOptics IP joystick use a large amount of bandwidth? So the PTZOptics IP joystick uses a protocol called OnVIF. OnVIF is a very slim protocol. Okay, I think it's slimmer than NDI. The response rates are incredible. It's actually used for video end control, so you can get video end control through that protocol. Of course, our joystick just does control. I'm going to guess and say that it is in the 100, 200 kilobits. Now, when you do video, it's still super slim. I'd have to ask my engineers that one. Feel free to ask the question on help.ptzoptics.com and get even more information from our engineers. But I know it's very minimal. It's the slim. I mean, it's a security camera protocol, basically. Ulysses saying he uses Wowza on AWS. I think that's awesome. I think Wowza is like one of the best, most powerful platforms ever. I heard they're supporting 3D video now. Or not 3D video, sorry, 360 video, along with a ton of other cool stuff. And I think you guys, Jim, you guys are even doing some stuff with 360, aren't you?
We are, actually. We're working with 360 Rise, offering their mounting kits for the GoPro cameras and the Bullet.
Wow.
So, yeah, some cool stuff, and we're actually getting a lot more involved in that probably in the next few months.
Yeah, I mean, especially a lot of churches are talking about it. In fact, we just got back from Louisville, Kentucky, which is the WFX House of Worship show, and all these churches are saying they want 360 video so that they get one camera in the middle and whoop, they can see everything. And sounds a little crazy, but they're saying that people are sitting at home with Oculus Rifts and having a church experience virtually. Now, philosophically, I don't know how everyone feels about that, but that's what they're saying. Rudy NGS, I apologize if I'm not saying that right. He says, I think the price of the Wirecast and NewTek systems would come down to, let's say, $1,000 USD. It would be huge, and sales would go up, but I can be wrong. You know, Rudy, this is what we're talking about here today, is do it yourself, right? So if you are looking, if you're on a shoestring budget, you can talk to VideoGuys and they can build you HP desktop computer that maybe it's not as powerful as the TriCaster. It doesn't come with the TriCaster software, but you know, Jim, you know, you can put anything in these things, right?
I don't want to mislead. With a $1,000 budget, we're really talking about hoping he has a computer already that's going to be close to powerful enough to run the Wirecast software.
Yeah.
And if you combine the Wirecast, just as an example, we have a bundle that's the Wirecast Studio software with 2 Epiphan AVIO HD USB frame grabbers. That comes in right at $995.
Yes.
And we sharpened our pencil to get that bundle under $1,000. But if you have a decent laptop or desktop computer system, now it gives you 2 HDMI cameras or SDI cameras into Wirecast to create a real inexpensive live streaming solution.
Yeah, I'm glad you asked that question, Rudy, because you know this is what we're talking about: do-it-yourself stuff. And the VideoGuys, they understand this market. In fact, it looks like Gary Padan's here, one of my old buddies. He says you can add Wirecast Studio and a pair of AV.io video grabbers for $1,000. Fantastic do-it-yourself 2-camera switching and streaming solution, but it does require a laptop with a quad-core CPU, and I would also imagine USB 3.0 ports, right?
And I want to tell you that I answered the question the exact same way before Gary typed in the message.
Yeah, I know, you did. I know. Well, yeah, you're quick, Jim. In fact, Jim, that kind of leads me along to this other question. Tell us about this streaming box in front of you from Matrox, because that is a nice budget solution.
Yeah, absolutely. So the Matrox Monarch is this unit right here. They have 3 different models right now. The base model, which is the one I'm holding, no, the base model is the Monarch HD. This one here is the newest model, which is the LCS. The Monarch HD has the HDMI encoding for live streaming, where you don't even need a computer setup. And you can take that and record to this unit itself at the same time that you're streaming. The HDX is their stepped-up model with SDI and HDMI input. Then this unit is their LCS. It's their lecture capture appliance. This one actually has 2 encoders. The beauty of this is in a school environment where you have a lecture hall, you can have one feed of the camera from the lecturer talking, feeding into one unit or one of the inputs, and have a laptop with your presentation material streaming into the other. You stream them both out together, and now you have a true presentation.
Yeah, that is such a nice product. And it's really geared toward education, lecture capture. It's basic, right? Like, it's not going to do what Wirecast does, or what you're seeing here, but it's going to give you that picture-in-picture. It's going to give you side-by-side, streaming, recording, multiple inputs, and no computer to deal with, right? It's a dedicated appliance. You're not going to ever have an update problem or something.
Yeah, and Matrox makes great products, and by all means, I don't want to make it seem like I skipped over them at all today. We actually did a great presentation on this just a few weeks ago that I would tell people to go to PTZOptics Live to look at what we've done with the Matrox stuff.
Yeah, I sent you that video too. That was a really good show where we just talked about that Matrox streaming device, and a lot of people were getting excited because it's a it's a $2,500 item where it does all the things most people need. The capture cards and everything are built in. It's a nice piece. I think they nailed it. I think they really nailed it. Gary's saying that Aura is coming out with a 360-degree live VR streaming camera around $2,500. And it seems like you guys over there at VideoGuys are really getting into this 360 virtual reality market. You want to tell us a little bit about that? Because I know I don't follow that market. I have no idea what's going on.
Yeah, I mean, the market initially started with your sports action video, you know, the skateboarders that wanted to be able to show the entire half pipe, you know. Now what we're seeing is more of the not X Games application anymore, but other real world applications like you mentioned in the middle of a church. You know, my mother used to always say that half the reason for going to church is to see who else was there. You know? But we're seeing VR being incorporated into corporate training videos, real estate videos where people are showing off properties, really any application that you can possibly think of, where a person may want to not only have a 360-degree view, but be able to control their view simply by turning their head. And that's what viewers like the Oculus and stuff like that are really bringing to the table.
Yeah, I think it's a really cool technology. Any last questions, you shoot them off, guys, or we're going to call this a day. I think it was a really great show. I think it looks like a lot of you have already downloaded our Build It Yourself PowerPoint presentation, where it kind of gives you the tools to build things. And it's just a good starting point. You can do whatever you want with that PowerPoint. Gary's saying the last thing here, you can take a $2,500 laptop, add Wirecast and a pair of AV.IOs, and you're under $4,000. So basically the takeaway there is give VideoGuys a call. You know, they can really set you up with a good sub, you know, $4,000 or $5,000 setup for sure. I guess that's it.
Thanks, Paul.
Thank you so much, Jim. I got to have you on again, man. You're so smart. You know all about this industry. I really appreciate it.
Have a great weekend, man.
Take care, everybody. Happy Friday.